council meeting. Good evening, welcome everybody to the regular Gilbert council meeting of September 9th, 2025. Council meeting to order, 6:01. We have roll call, please.
Bertocci.
Present.
Horn. Oberstar.
Here.
Gilbert.
Here.
Hodgson.
Here.
We have a quorum, we can have a meeting. Can everybody rise and help me with the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any additions to the agenda, Mike?
I do. Can you give me 1 second, Carl? I apologize. I would like to add the counselor vacancy plan to item D under new business. And then, we have to do something about setting up some labor negotiations. I can just go ahead and move forward with that. I don't know if we need a motion for it. We didn't discuss it in our planning session, so. As we move forward, I reached out to our labor attorney today to ask for, what levels of support are possible. And then we're gonna have to decide who's gonna be on a negotiating committee and sit down and look at that. If anybody would like a copy of the ASPE contract, to take a look at it, I'll be glad to provide it for you, but that's just kind of where that is. So those are the two items that I would.
What was the word on that last one? Just set up
Just the labor
negotiation meeting?
negotiations, yeah.
Is that under E?
It will be at any.
Okay.
Also, should we put on there, we have to schedule some meetings, budget meetings and stuff, so we can motion for them, find out our schedules and stuff.
Sure. Last time we talked, we said that individuals would sit down with me and do different departments and stuff. I'd like to do that with you and Rudy for public works and whatever else. I think we should also set up a closed session to discuss the police contract that we got back. I gave you all a copy of that. That's not what our expectation is, and it's going to be a complicated negotiation. Hasn't happened. We're going to have to deal with that. How would you like to handle that, Bob?
Yeah, I think.
We have next Tuesday open, next Tuesday night.
No, I think it's too early. I don't think I'll have enough time to work with each and every one of you. Maybe next Thursday might be better.
Do we want to just add
Wednesday, Thursday.
add an item under old business B for coming up with a date
Sure,
during the meeting? Budget meeting.
perfect.
So are we gonna have a closed session at some point then? Do we do the date now, or do we do it after we've had some preliminary budget talk?
We're talking about additions to the agenda right now.
Right, and I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know, another date.
We'll just
Closed
let
session for the
That's
contracts.
That's what I'm suggesting, is that
Those
we
are my
add an item
additions.
under old business to talk about the
Yeah,
date.
Paul has an addition,
Okay, so that, so meetings.
and I have 2 additions.
All right, we've got 3 additions to the agenda. Everybody is familiar with them, and so we need a motion to add those.
I'll move to make, to approve the additions as noted.
Motion by Councilor Skirvin, support.
I'll second that.
Support by Councilor Pontman. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, we have consent agenda.
I have a couple of changes.
Councilor Skirvin.
Under the regular city council meeting for August 26th, about almost to the bottom of the page, It's the third paragraph up, motion by Councilor Skirbeck. That's the one talking about the Wasaga Trail. That was lifted from a previous meeting. That should be stricken.
Yeah, I don't know how she could add that.
And then the other one that I noticed was on the special council meeting and budget meeting from 9/2. Under new business developer discussion, Councilor Potman's name is incorrectly spelled.
No problem.
Anybody else? All right, we can now add those, approve the minutes, with all these other minutes, along with the cemetery board minutes, and we'll take up the recommendation after we vote on this consent agenda. With the corrections stated, and then we'll get the recommendations before we move on.
Okay, so we'll approve the consent agenda and then we'll address the recommendation.
On the cemetery board.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Changes.
Moved by Councilor Skirbeck, supported by Councilor Vrtajnik, to approve the consent agenda with the changes noted. And then we'll move on to recommendations after this vote. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. We have the carries unanimously, recommendations for the new sign and work on the ditch. We talked about the ditch in great length at the previous meeting tonight. And we're gonna get some action or have some big engineering look at that ditch. Look at a fencing of some kind on the city property to not walk into that ditch. Look at the ditch and see what needs to be done to fix that ditch and the wall. We've already directed the city clerk to look at, the engineer to go look at that part, and now we need to take action on the sign that they're proposing that they want, so then we can go out and get that done. Made.
If I may.
Correct.
I think the language looks great as far as the sign. The only recommendation I would make is that we address the artificial flowers twice on the sign. Rather than doing that, I think we should strike the shorter language under number 1, move number 7, the longer language up to number 1, and make sure it's in bold. It just makes it a little simpler.
I see members of the cemetery board here. Do you got anything you want to talk to us about on that?
That sounds fine.
I'd like to see on that also for dogs.
Huh?
For dogs.
Oh, for dogs, no dogs allowed? Okay, wow.
I'm fine with
Can
that.
I do that?
Is that what the cemetery board wants, or? Is it-
We omitted that because we put on the rules and regulations, we tried to shorten the information up and have a more reasonable size, lettering so people can see it better. And we chose to admit that, and we do have for a copy of the rules and regulations to see city hall, go to city hall. Because there's lots of things that were on there before, like shrub center. You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff on that site, so we tried to shorten it up and.
Well, that wouldn't add anything to it because we eliminated number 7 and made it number 1. So we still have 7 open for that.
Also can put that on there if you want.
So I just have to ask a question about, I haven't witnessed it myself, but how big of an issue is it for pets being at the cemetery? I would imagine it's a relatively frequent.
I guess we believe it isn't an issue. People that do walk through the cemetery probably have their dog on a leash and walk through the cemetery. You could address hours of the cemetery, you could address all kinds of things on there, so we just tried to shorten it up. I'm up there quite often, I don't see anything with any dogs running free. It's up to you guys.
I know dogs are
Our
supposed to
goal,
be
our
leashed.
goal was to Ed.
I mean, dogs are supposed to be leashed, and we have a walking trail by my house, and they let them roam, and they come in my yard.
That's not the cemetery.
I know, but if you let somebody walk through it, they might let their dog just run, just for the exercise.
I disagree with that, Rudy. Yeah, who's gonna police
Well,
it?
it's up to, all this is up to council discussion if you wanna have some things or take things over. We have a recommendation by the board, but then we can tweak it if we care to. Whatever the council wants.
I think that's one of the ones where, you know, we have enough dog-related complaints throughout the city that if given an opportunity to reinforce that ordinance, this might be a good opportunity to do it. We should do it on, you know, any sign, whether it's cemetery, campground, parks, you know, because that's one of those staple, you know, issues that we run into with pet owners, is that it's just, I don't know why people feel like they should be okay with letting their dogs off the leash. It's not okay. And I say that as a dog owner. It's just not respectful. And so I think I would be in favor of including dogs are not allowed.
Number 7.
Well, dogs are not allowed without being on a leash, or dogs are not allowed, period.
What is the rule? They need to be on a leash, or?
Well, I don't know, I can't remember what it says on there, maybe dogs are not allowed, but I know that people do walk the cemetery, and I know they do have their dogs on a leash as they walk down the main street of Gilbert with the leash, you know, I guess it's up to you guys, but we just tried to shorten it up so we could have bigger lettering, not so muddled sign that nobody reads.
I think just no dogs at all. Because you take a dog on a leash, and you have that extended leash that goes 10, 15 feet, and the dog decides to stop. If I was up there and the dog stopped on my footstone, I would not be happy.
I don't know if it's a city ordinance or not. I think you're reaching.
Yeah, I think the ordinance is dogs need to be on a leash. I think reinforcing that on here, I'd be in favor of putting whatever language we have in our cemetery rules and or ordinance in terms of controlling pets.
Do we have a copy of the cemetery rules in City Hall?
Yes.
Cemetery rules in park, how about parks? What do we got for rules for parks?
What's the rule of the park?
Dogs must be on a leash.
And, yeah, all through town, we have to pick up, you know what, is that right?
Yeah.
Because in number 6, it says, for a full list of rules and regulations, please stop by Gilbert City Hall and request a copy. Is there a copy?
Yes, there is a copy. We redid those rules and regulations, 3 years ago, Keith? They're there. I've seen them. Marion has a copy. Because there's all kinds of rules on there about like, you know, 1 pot, not 2 pots. There's size of the monuments. There's no planting of shrubbery. There's all kinds of rules, and yet it says 1 pot. People don't put 1 pot. They put, as you know, many different pots. 2 pots, 1 on each side. Lots of people do several different things, so we couldn't put it all on the sign.
Right. I get that. I get
Yeah.
You know,
We had over 20 rules on the last.
and it was, I mean, there was 2 issues. One, there's a lot of wording on there, and you're not gonna stop and read that.
Right, so we tried to limit it a little bit. And we did put some new things on there, like about that the city is not responsible for somebody getting hurt, you know, when kids are climbing on headstones and things like that. But we did what we thought was important, but up to you guys.
Nothing wrong or inappropriate to add on dogs must be on a leash. I don't have nothing wrong with
Is there a motion?
Just like in the park.
You guys wanna make a motion on this
So
one?
approve the signage with addition on that one line.
I'll go ahead and make the motion, so since I had the first one. So, I make a motion to approve the wording of the cemetery with 2 changes. One is striking item number 1, replacing it with number 7,
Making goal.
making it bold. And then adding in a new number 7, pets must be on a leash per Gilbert City ordinance.
Pets instead of dogs.
Yes.
Okay, everybody heard that? Okay with that? That's the motion. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second that.
Second by Councilor Condon. Any more discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Again, the erosion part, we discussed that in length at the last meeting, and the engineer, City Clerk's been directed to proceed with some kind of engineering, find somebody to look at it. Get a solution to bring back to us, okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have public input. Anybody in the audience tonight having something they wish to discuss with the council other than what's on this agenda tonight? Come to the podium, please.
Go ahead.
State your name and then your business.
Yeah, hi, Jamie Gardner, East Wasabi Sanitation. Just letting you know I did respond to the RFP and submitted a proposal by August 29th. Happy to answer questions on a scheduled agenda whenever that's ready. I believe I understand from Administrator Scribbick that that's not necessary at this point, but just letting you all know I'm happy to answer questions because it's a little bit complicated.
Sir, we was discussing your proposal and the issue at great length here, and we haven't come to a decision, a formal decision yet. Okay.
How long is your proposal good for? How long is it good for?
It's good for a month or more. No issues there. It's really just I think about garbage every day, so it's pretty straightforward to me. Might not be to anybody else, so that's why I'm happy to answer questions. Reach out to me when you want me to come and attend one of these meetings. Thanks.
Well, thank you. Anybody in council got any questions for the gentleman? All right, anybody else? Just get to the point, yeah.
Hi, my name is Joseph Bullis. I've been on the council for 6 years previous to this, represented by also Tom Smith, who was a dedicated officer for 35 years in this town. I want to know if it's true what I'm hearing about the police department being demolished.
No, that's not true.
It came from a council member sitting on your board.
I've never heard about that. We've been talking about different things about partnering with other things. There's no talk about abolishing.
As you know as well as I do, you're not going to get the service that Tyler's officers provide. So,
No, we've authorized to go out and, because we're dealing with Wabic right now, we have a contract here with Wabic to be looked at and to finalize. But we've directed other councilmen to go out and search other partnerships, not abolishing stuff. So
what do you mean by like partnerships?
combining, I'm not doing away with.
Have we talked to even inform Ty of any of this?
Yeah, he's known all about it. I'm pretty sure he's known all about it. But there is I'm not in favor of any abolishment. I'll tell you that right now.
Bob,
But
you favor it or not?
back in March, I asked the council if Rudy and I could look into seeing if there were different ways we could police Gilbert. And that's what we did. We looked into different ways of policing, combination, going with another unit or combining with Evelyn, or maybe just not going to Biwabic anymore. We looked at all the solutions, and that was to find out if we can afford what we're doing now, and maybe we could save some money by going to another, but never to abolish that. And that's all these rumors get going around town.
Well, that's
And it
why,
makes me angry because, and you know better, Joe.
that's why I came, because I'm gonna address it head on, not
Right.
listen to rumors. Paul, what do you feel about it?
Right.
Well, from the very beginning, from when I signed up to run for council, I was very clear that there are current problems in our police contract. I believe the best path forward is to get more revenue from Buwabik so that they're paying their fair share. I believe that is the best model for us right now. It's been working for us for a long time, with the exception of our citizens are having to pay the burden for coverage in Buwabik. And so I think that needs to be rectified. We have not addressed that, that portion of the contract for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And so that is what I'm focused on. I would not favor other potential, you have to look at, okay, if we don't work with Buwabik, what are the other solutions? I'm not in favor of that right now.
Okay. Rudy?
I don't think we're ever gonna abolish the Gilbert Police Department.
Okay, or the fire department, right?
Well, we looked at combining with different entities with that also, and that.
Yeah.
There's always a cost involved in everything that we do. So we were looking at costs. How can we save money? It's a matter of, we have a second proposal from Buwabik. Are we gonna accept it or not accept it? Can we afford that? Can we? Do we pay a burden of it or don't we?
Okay.
There's nothing wrong about abolishing it.
Okay, well, like I said, when the town starts talking, people start talking, so I was gonna come and address it on behalf of the police department or fire department, whatever it takes. I sat on the board for 6 years, I know what it's all about, I know it's the job you guys gotta do, and it's not always easy, but it's better to come and address it and let the public hear from you guys that that's not the case, so we can rest easy on that, because ain't no service gonna be like pie does.
I would like to address the fire department. Thank you for bringing that up. Mayor Obastar has been quoted in the news with the mayor from Eveleth and the leader from Vale. We are working on a project right now to explore a fire district. It is in an extremely preliminary stage. I was at the fire department meeting last night to be available for the department so we could get their input. They will continue to be part of the process. This is not a new thing. It was something that was originally floated in 2018, 2017. It's previous proposal. And so we are actively looking at that. But as to how far that's going to go, we don't know. So our next step is we are actually going to be talking with someone out of the Cloquet area who's in their Cloquet leadership to find out what steps they took in creating their fire district so that we can continue to evaluate if this is going to be something that's going to make sense for us.
Okay, well, I appreciate you guys' time. Thanks, Ty, for everything you do.
One more thing, John.
Yep.
I'm gonna let you know publicly that I told council at the last meeting, all these towns, 4 towns, are reaching out to each other to find out different ways of helping each other cut costs, okay?
Yep.
I just had a meeting with the mayor of Mount Iron, Virginia, town of Vale, and Mayor of Ethel could not make that meeting, but he was invited too. Again, just to see where we can do the animal control or something like that. Start smaller,
Sure.
but and this council's told you, well, I'm never gonna abolish the fire department or the police department,
Okay,
okay?
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, but just overall, as we look at our budget and everything that we're doing, we have to consider the costs of everything involved. And it's premature to say anything about what your absolute future plans are until you get them budgeted into the system and know what it's gonna cost the city.
Well, I think what Mr. Bullis is trying to tell us, and I believe the same way, I understand there's costs involved, everything, we're looking at the budget as a whole. But I don't believe, in my perception of this community as a whole, or the vast majority of the people in town would want us to abolish the fire department or the police department, even to save $1 million. I don't think even, it's more worth to have them here than to save $1 million. That's my perception of the thinking of the people of Gilbert.
You won't get the service you get from Ty from the county, I guarantee that one.
And we don't need some of the headaches that, others. So, I'm not just thinking for myself when I say that. I'm just thinking of what I understand how Gilbert would want us to think here. I think what they're thinking, they would rather keep that, find some ways to make some cost-saving maneuvers, but not abolish totally. Like go to the sheriff's department or something like that.
I'm Kevin Bronson. Is it true the city of Biloxic sent you guys a estimate of what they're willing to pay?
Yes?
And you guys are going to be voting on that?
No, we just got it. We haven't looked at it. I haven't looked at it. I just got it here today. I saw it.
Because it was on their council meeting that they said it, sent it over and they're waiting for a response from yours.
We just got it back from them, and the numbers don't agree with what our initial discussion was, so the council's gonna have to look long and hard at it and evaluate the offering and see if it fits in with what our budgeted figures are for our police department. Whether somebody wants to pay their share or not is a whole nother issue. But at the current time, it's not where it needs to be. So that discussion's gonna have to happen, and we'll be working on it. And we're not making a decision on that this evening.
I didn't think you would. Were you aware of this time?
As far as, I'm aware of negotiations, correct. I have very little to do with the money side of things. That's what the councils do. I provide the numbers that are asked of me, and from there, the council make a decision on what they want to pay. And that's been since the contract started in 2009.
Is that when it was?
We've always been left out of the negotiation process when it comes to money. So I provide the numbers that are requested. There was a data request back in March. I provide numbers what I thought, and what I think and what Biloxic thinks or this council thinks is up to them. So they're the elected officials. So.
Well, that would be, as far as I'm concerned, one of my main reasons I'm here is because of our police department. I feel totally safe, and I had talked to Council Potman and to Sturbeck regarding this, and I was asked, do I feel safe being, the police are over in Biloxic, and then there's none here. I was under the understanding that they tried to keep one in Biloxic and one in Gilbert. Is that not the way it is?
So generally, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but when the contract was drawn up, it was Gilbert had 24-hour coverage. Biloxic only had 12 hours of coverage a day. They were having a lot of things that were happening in their community. They only had a 2-man department, at that point. And it was decided that Gilbert would take emergency call during the time that there was an officer on the schedule. So Biloxic contracts for give or take 21 hours of coverage a day during a week. Weekends are 12 hours of coverage. Now we have it written in the contract that's where the Gilbert is getting their savings at is on days when there's government days, vacations, whatever else. There is no car in Biloxic. Gilbert covers the Biloxic area. I don't remember. I know you guys have the information. I think 13% of the time that there's not a Biloxic car in Gilbert, the Gilbert car is in Biloxic. And again, that was a small sample. I have 36,000 pages of GPS data. I took a small sample, and I might be misspeaking, maybe you guys can correct me, but I believe it was right around 13% of the time our squad car is in Biloxic when there's not a Biloxic car on. So the call volume is 2/3, 1/3, give or take, a couple percentage points there. So the savings for us was basically, and again, I'm not a numbers expert by any means. These individuals are a lot better with numbers than I am. That they're paying for basically 2 officers and they're paying for half the chief's position. And then when we have our vacation coverage, we just don't cover the Biwaka card, they run short, but then we cover emergency coverage. So when I say 21 hours a day, it's not truly 21 hours a day over there because we have government days, vacations and stuff like that, we just don't fill that card. The only time we're required to have 2 officers on are on Fridays and Saturday nights from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. That's called the officer safety coverage. Biggest reason is we've got, I believe, 17 bars between our 2 towns. At least you have 2 officers working. And a lot of times other agencies can't back us up. Other than that, we have 1 car on, but yes, you're correct. When we're at full schedule, full staff, we're running 2 officers on for 21 hours a day during the week and 12 hours a day on the weekends.
Do you think that's been working out pretty good?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't, I don't think, keep in mind, we had to cut 4 full-time positions between the 2 towns. So 2 towns have 11 officers in the 2000s. 2009, we dropped down to 7 officers. So basically, we didn't replace our 6th officer, we went down to 5, and then Biwaka cut the 5 officers they had from the 11 down to 7 for the 2 towns. So has there been a savings? Yeah, I mean, I'll be very honest with you, we were by ourselves, and I don't want to speak for the council, but if you do the numbers, if we were by ourselves, we'd be making some tough decisions about what this community wants to pay for a police department. Because it would cost us more, without a doubt. So, and I think when I wasn't part of the negotiation process in 2008, when we were looking at the merger, the thought at the time was, what is Gilbert willing to sacrifice for lower cost versus coverage? And it was decided that was it. 13% of the time that the squad cars out of Gilbert and Biwaka, that would be that it's worth it, and. If you want, I can break down some numbers for response times. Are you going to wait sometimes 20 minutes to have a vehicle unlocked on you? There might be times like that where before it was 5 minutes. So there's some, but if there's an emergency, generally we get there pretty quick. So.
Yeah, my daughter's a firefighter, paramedic from Virginia, and when I fell, within 3 minutes, I had 2 of the police officers from Gilbert there. And the first responders showed up probably about 15 minutes later. So the response time that I've seen is worth whatever, but don't you think that contract should have been looked at a while ago? Before, it's been 8, 9 years? And has there been any changes?
The contract's been ignored by Biwaka. They were presented in 23 and 24. They chose to ignore it both years. Over the period from 2017 until now, the city's probably subsidized them for over $500,000. So if you think there's savings, there's not savings. It's costing this city, we're carrying their water. So unless they agree to pay the 35% of the total contract that we based this whole thing on from the beginning, because the population is about 35%, and I've been assured by Chief Teacher that the calls are about 35% too, then it's gonna be a difficult deal to work on. So that's up to the council to have this discussion. That's not all gonna happen here tonight, but I'm just saying, when you keep on talking about savings, we're not saving, we are spending, and that has got to be adjusted.
I agree
That's
with
where we're
that.
at.
However, when you said that they ignored your request, in what years ago?
They have,
They have?
yes, they
And
have.
you didn't do nothing about it?
I wasn't here, so.
Oh, so who was?
I knew something.
I sat with them right in that back room and we gave them a proposal and they never returned our call. We never did anything about it.
And nobody was, you didn't call a special meeting and say, hey.
I understand, right, Bob, that last year the lawyers have been talking to each other and whenever.
Since they haven't signed a
Try.
contract that was presented to them last year, now they turned this over to Brian, our attorney. But now we met with their mayor and we've had a discussion. He's given us a proposal that we need to sit down and look at it, and you guys will have to decide what you want to do. But we're still not made whole, and that's a big issue.
In good faith, as the new leadership in Milwaukee has come forward and talked to us, the new leadership in
Is
Milwaukee.
that Steve?
Yes. And his council has proposed to us a new, to
Well,
me.
shouldn't we have gotten more aggressive when they just totally ignored you?
Yes.
I wasn't here,
Yes.
I don't know.
I know, and that's the problem when you have a spinning door of different clerks and, you know, people that are supposed to be in charge of this. And when the next one comes in and has no clue what's going on, and it happens again and repeats every 2-3 years, then you end up with a contract that wasn't looked at since 2017. That's how these things happen. And I'm angry about it, and I'm trying to change things, but it takes a long time, I found out, to change anything in this town.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I
I
think
totally agree.
one of the things I will add is that, you know, the budget process for a city it's not easy. And I think Councilor Poulos understands that. It's very complicated, it moves very slowly. But there's also some important things to understand from how we administer the budget too. You know, I think Councilor Skirbeck has been doing a very good job picking up a lot of pieces that were scattered all over the place. Because we've had in that role, we've had a lot of attrition, more attrition than we, you know, probably could afford. And when things are scattered all over, it takes a long time to pick up pieces. Now we are just finally getting to the point where hopefully we're going to be reposting for a deputy clerk position. The primary role of that position is an accounting function and a payroll function, so that we can get some of these things, so that we can get the budget under control. But we have to hire for that person first. It's a critical role in how we administer the city, because one person, I don't know, honestly, some of the things, I don't know how you do some of the things you do, because we do ask a lot of your one role, and it's not an easy task to do all of the things that we need to get done.
And everybody needs a backup. Clerk needs a backup. These can't be healthy every day of the year. You might have a hernia, you might have a gallbladder. We need somebody to back him up.
Well, but if this has been going on for so long, I mean, there's been passed down from 2-3 councils?
Right? What I don't know what we're talking about, what's wrong. We're talking about either police or the whole city now.
You what?
Are we talking about the whole city as a whole, or?
No, I'm talking about the council. We've had about 3 council members switch over since this is going on for a while.
I don't understand what's the problem with Bobby. Well, I don't know. I've had 2 other, when I was mayor 2 years ago, 2 other different clerks tell me that we were in the black all the time. In the black. Clerks telling council we're in the black. Now I come here again after 2 years. Now I have this gentleman telling us we're deep in the red with the Waback issue. So, and the council depend on the information given by the clerks that they count the monies. So we're gonna fix it. And now we're gonna fix this now. It's right here in front of us, and it's very fixable. I don't see it's almost a doable thing here. Maybe a little bit tweaking it, but I think it's a doable contract.
Yeah, because I was told that we're looking to the sheriffs for Mount Iron was a specific place mentioned.
Again, Bob addressed that earlier. It's just exploration. That's all.
And this is discussed at every budget meeting, correct?
We just started.
It just started?
We just had our first budget.
No, but this, every year, this is discussed.
It should have been
At the
discussed. It
Is
should
this-
have been discussed, but it wasn't. And that's what I told you
That's what I
about.
was told. It was discussed at every single budget meeting. Well, now that's not true. This is the first time, you guys are saying now, this is the first time it's in front of you.
You heard Carl say it, he was told it's in the black. So it was discussed
Where
2
are
years
you guys
ago.
getting these people?
In 2023, this was discussed. The numbers on the proposed budget for Biwabic were higher than they were the year before. They were never given an increase from there. This has been discussed annually, but it's a very emotional issue, and apparently people are scared to take the tiger by the tail here, but it's gotta get solved. And it's as
Well, I
simple
would
as
think
that.
so.
And that's where I'm working towards with this council. And I can't do anything about what happened years ago, but I think it's embarrassing
and it needs to be
As it
taken
should
care of.
As it
And
should be.
it has my full attention, and it has since I walked in the door. And
Well, I'm glad
it
you're
has not been
picking
getting
it up,
done, and we're gonna get it
but
done.
we're quite a few years behind the ball here.
Right, we finally got a council that's gonna do something. And I've worked with other councils that they just ignored this whole problem. And I brought it up to them.
And see,
They
that's the
They don't
problem.
listen to me. This council finally does. And now we're gonna get some changes made.
Well, I certainly hope so, because I really, I don't know what we would do without this, our police department.
It was never gonna be abolished,
Abolished or even any of them losing their jobs. I mean, it's the same thing. If you're gonna if you're gonna have two people and then have sheriffs come in, somebody's gonna lose their jobs. You said you can't afford to keep them. So it is kind of, it is not abolishing, but you are.
Oh, but I have one more thing on that, yeah, we can't do all that, we can't explore, we can't find other ways. We never talked about abolishing, but we're looking at other ways to save costs. Then again, we're gonna have a levy here of some kind, maybe, that doesn't take, grants don't pay for, and then we can't have a levy, we can't have a 9%, we can't have a 2%, you only can have 0%. And that doesn't work. You can't have it both ways, folks. You can't have it both ways. You have to pay, because somebody in Virginia is not gonna pay for your problems in Gilbert. Somebody in Houston is not gonna pay for grant money and for Gilbert's problems. And no, we wanna keep everything, but if we can afford everything, that's the main thing. But we never talked about being abolished. There's gonna be, salaries are not paid by grants. Salaries are paid by taxes. And not from the taxes, last year's taxes. There has to be new money made. And we're gonna be asking you folks for new money to keep the department, because they're gonna want a raise. They want a raise coming up. So we don't have the money to pay for that raise because we have to find new money. And that's taxes are going up. How much? We don't know. But
They've gone up almost every.
If we don't have new taxes, then we have to find a way to keep it where it's at.
Well, I don't think they get paid nearly what they put up with, that's for sure.
Well, then we're gonna have to ask for more money.
Well, that one, that wouldn't bother me.
Huh?
That wouldn't bother me. For the police department,
Good, I guess we're here.
I would have no problem with that.
I would hope.
Or even donating, funding a committee to help, get them the stuff that they need. There's many ways to do it.
I hope.
But when it's kind of closed sessions and it's kind of played down, and we're here to help. That's why I came tonight.
I hope everybody feels the same way you do.
Well, if they don't,
And
that's their
there
problem.
have been no closed sessions. Everything that we discuss is open to the public, and the council is working diligently in groups of different individuals to look at every element of our thing and see if there's any cost-saving measures that are available. If you don't do any exploring, you'll never know where you're at. So that's what's been going on. Everything's been a public meeting, and it's open to everyone.
I hope everybody's, we're all on the same page, actually, we're all on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think anybody would want to see any of the police department even touched.
Yeah.
Or the fire department.
I agree.
So we're gonna have to figure out a way to keep it. Where the main thing would be get with Bilovic and.
Well, number was get them back in line with what we're asking for.
Well, absolutely.
And not lose money anymore, and we want.
Well, why did we let it go on so long?
We want a win-win situation, win for Bilovic, win for Gilbert.
Bilovic, they can do what they want, but I want Gilbert to have our police department, our fire department, and if Bilovic's going to join in, they should pay for their fair share and what they passed up in the past, they owe the city of Gilbert.
I agree with you fully.
Well, we've talked to Wabick here, and we both agree a win-win for Wabick and Gilbert is what we're aiming to do here. So no overburdening anybody. Win-win for both of us. Both communities.
If it's a win-win, I'll go with it.
Yeah,
But win for Gilbert, I'll go for it. By Wabick, you know,
win-win, win-win.
I don't live there, so I live in Gilbert. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Public input. Thank you all for your comments. Nobody else? Okay, moving on. Reports by mayor and council. City councilors, Rudy.
I have nothing with this time.
Oh,
My own thing is I want to, since we addressed the issues for the cemetery, I want to thank the cemetery board for their work. I know it's been kind of a heavy lift to come up with some new language to address, artificial flowers and all of the other, many things. So I know that the work is not exciting sometimes, but I just want to make sure that you have our thanks for doing the work that needs to be done.
Thank you.
thank you, Councilor Ponton.
Yeah, I just have one thing. A couple months ago, we talked about painting, the handicap curbs and stuff. And I don't believe we're ADA compliant until we do it, so it's almost getting too late to do it now, so. And if it can be done this year, I sure, at least do the handicaps, for the people that need that parking space. That's all I have to say on that.
Why did we get the paint? Didn't we get the paint?
Paint is,
But-
yeah.
They purchased paint back in June.
They did, and it's not been put down. What you're saying?
Right. Especially the handicaps, the vets club, the dentists, come on.
From City Hall.
Yeah, City Hall.
All right, well, I don't know. Okay. Anything else, Bob?
Well, on that, do we have to contract out to get it done? I don't know.
Well, I think we'd like Mr. Clerk to get that answer, and if it's not, what we're looking for an answer, we then have to, next meeting, discuss that, to contract it out then.
That's all I have.
All right. I have, spoken on, at the working session, on a few issues that I was gonna take up here, but I took it under miscellaneous and we're good to go. All right. Number 6. City attorney, have anything?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay, any questions by the council for the city attorney? To bring back and to answer tonight? If not, I don't see the chief of fire department here either, okay?
I will give a little bit of an update. I know that Mark is out of town, so he's not going to be here. So one of the issues that came up at their meeting last night is the pump truck has had to have some work done on it. They are working on some estimates. They've done some work in-house to get things up to level. They've done some of the tests. There's like 3 critical tests. They've passed, I think, 1 or 2 of them. They will have to order some parts. That is going to be a little costly. So I know that Mark is planning on coming to us with that at the next meeting. So.
Okay. Okay, police chief teacher.
Good evening, Mayor Council. What I have this evening is, there's been a lot of chats about the thefts in town. We've made 4 arrests in the last 3 weeks for thefts from vehicles and garages. We're still trying to recover some of the property. Sunday night, we executed a search warrant on New Jersey Avenue East for stolen property, and we recovered methamphetamine and some stolen property. So we believe we have all 4 of the individuals that have been involved. Now it's just a matter of trying to time it together with all the thefts we've had around. I believe it's been 13 thefts this summer, which is very high for us. And normally we only have 1 or 2 thefts this summer from vehicles or garages. And this year's a little bit higher. We've identified the suspects and we're hoping to get some stolen property back from people.
Tim, I'd like to ask you, I don't know if it's, if I can ask or not. The suspects, are they local, Gilbert, or not?
Of the 4 that we've arrested, 3 have been live within the community.
Okay, that's all. I'd like to ask you where we are with the blight.
Thanks for reminding me. Yes, at the next council meeting, we can put on the agenda for the blight hearings. Right now, I believe we've got 18 properties out that are considered violation. However, just 2 of them were rectified today. So I'm anticipating probably around 5 or 6 properties. I'm hoping to get it down to by next council meeting. So if we can, I know we talked about last council meeting, we'll schedule it for the second council meeting, whether it's before or during the council meeting, that's fine. But I hope to only bring 6 or 8 properties to them.
For abatement or?
For abatement, yeah.
How about the ones we did abate? What was one on that, any updates?
That one is in pretty decent shape. We do have, there's a question regarding the rock and stuff like that. In fact, the Trinity law firm, Brian Lindsay, had a court hearing with him, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, and he has 30 days to comply. I think it was September 1st. The other individual was arrested for theft on Sunday night, so I don't know when he's gonna be out of jail. So it may be pushed out, but we'll be awaiting the rest of the problem. So
Basically, the yard looks a little bit better.
and that's the issue we're dealing with now. Under state law, you can grow up to 8 marijuana plants in your backyard. We are getting some complaints. Again, you can grow it, but it has to be secured and not visible from a public street. But a lot of people are growing in backyards, but if kids still have access to it, it's a violation. So we are taking the plants until they can be properly secured. So that's just something that should be mentioned too, is now with the marijuana laws change, there's a lot of people in town growing it. But they can't keep plants and it has to be secured. I think a lot of people are missing the fact that it has to be secured and not visible, which means basically it's got to be like some type of flower house or something like that where it's blocked off so kids can't access it. But we've been dealing with that this last week. And of course, in Minnesota, the growing really gets hard, really picks up. And these marijuana plants are actually pretty tough. They can handle the cold pretty well, but they're also starting to bloom pretty well. So we're dealing with that too. So, but that's on a couple of blighted properties too. So.
Thank you, Ty.
Ty, where are we on the, I think last council meeting or the one before, we had conversations about parking enforcement and stepping up some of the efforts on that. Where are we with that?
We have issued a handful of tickets, specifically on New York Avenue West, Minnesota East, and I want to say Wisconsin. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot of details for you. So, but we have dealt with those 3 blocks. So.
Anything on Summit?
No, we haven't any issues on the worst on Summit Street.
I know you found that one car that was always parked down there.
Oh, but that was back in July.
And up the street from there.
We haven't anybody parking on Summit.
The 2 Jeeps parked on the sidewalk across from
I'll check it out.
the teacher's house.
I'll check it
Nable's
out.
house.
Who's that?
Nable. The old Nable.
Okay, I'll check it. I might have forgotten about that one, so sorry.
And there's that camper parked
On First Court Street?
no, right off Main Street down in Minnesota. They put,
East or west?
They put a canvas down and they parked a camper on that side of the street. It used to be that
Right.
traveling nurse. at one
Yes,
time.
it's a so they're moving on with a different camper, the same camper.
I think it's the same camper. It's like it's permanent there.
Okay, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it, so. Okay.
Anybody else?
In a month, when parking starts, there'll be a lot of tickets issued, so.
You see?
Usually about 500 a year, so.
Okay, nobody else? All right. I think Mike, you're up.
No comment.
No comment.
You
all talked
drained me.
Huh?
You drained me already.
Okay. All right. Anybody got anything for Dorothy? All right. All business, church kitchen use. Again, I understand this issue we talked about at the working session, that's illegal. I think it's illegal to just let them go do whatever they want down there without paying. But I don't think it's illegal to have the council to make a formal waiver up here, waiving the fees. That's not illegal. I don't think the council can make that motion. It's a form of governing. But to just close your eyes and let them do what they want to do down there and let them not pay, yeah, that's illegal for sure. But I don't think it's illegal to have council make a rule, policy, exception, a waiver, or whatever you want to call it here, for this issue. That's not illegal. That's what we do on everything up here. So I don't see it. Eli, I have to disagree, and have Ryan revisit that again. Also, action making that waiver is a formal action, and I think it's legal to do. It's an amendment or a clause amendment to a law. I don't think it up to the council discretion to do if you wanted to. But I'm not gonna make the motion to do that if I'm not gonna hear support, which I didn't hear no support at the last meeting. And I would have to tell them to please don't stop making pass, you can go and find some other way, but I would definitely make that motion up here to, as we've done in the past, to make that legal, I believe, legal formal motion to waive all costs of their rental of the community center to make these passes. I'll step off the chair and make that motion, like I just said.
The mayor stepped up, the chair made a motion, which was discussed. Is there a second to that motion?
I'm gonna go ahead and second that for discussion purposes, so we can talk about it.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
So I want to be clear on what the costs are that we're talking about. So this was for multiple days. I think it was 3 or 4, 5 days. And so what is our normal fee for renting out that facility?
$100 a day.
So it'd be $500.
Correct.
I guess I understand that we need to do this in a fair and legal way for everybody. But do we have a formal policy that talks about, the scenarios where we can waive something versus not waive something? I know, for example, the city of Virginia, when they rent out the Iron Trail Motors Center, they have a policy over how and when they will consider special pricing for groups, private parties, nonprofits, whatever. And they use that policy to direct their decision-making when these issues come to them. Do we have anything that is a policy that guides this decision-making so that we can say, as a community, we are going to, if it is a nonprofit, if it is a church, if they're doing something for the community, they're doing these things, we will accept this versus if they're from out of town, we're not gonna accept this. Do we have anything that says that?
We had something like that for schools, and I don't believe churches were involved in that.
I'm not aware that we have anything like that. Your city attorney,
We have community center rules for renting, yeah. We've
your
had
city attorney advised against that. But if you want to explore that, it would probably be in the charter.
The charter doesn't go into that. That would be an ordinance.
Ordinance thing?
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Brian, I don't have the answer.
that.
And I don't, if you chose to let the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts or the church or some private group uses it at a reduced fee, that'd be fine, but our fee schedule says $100 a day. There's no different verbiage on the fee schedule. So if you guys want to go there, my advice would be to ask Brian what's legal and what's not legal, and then make a change. Either to the fee schedule or the ordinance.
Right, and I wanna be clear that I want this to be something that is fair, because I do see the point of, we have to be fair to all groups that come to us. That's where the legality becomes a problem. Because if there is a group that, we just don't like,
But it's a
right,
discriminatory,
and we deny that.
discriminatory pricing policy is what you're trying to avoid.
Right.
So unless you make it broad enough, and I'm not the attorney, but if you make it broad enough to say charitable organizations and that's legal, you could do that. But it's muddy water. That's why it's not our fee schedule. It says $100. So I don't know how this council has dealt with it in past years. My advice for you is to ask Brian.
I literally, as I was exploring the area prices for the campgrounds, the spreadsheet that I sent you for helping us with the pricing and budget, Fail has, or actually no, Evelyn has in their pricing for use of the pavilion. They have, I think they call it resident and non-resident use, but they do have a difference between the pricing, and they do give preferential pricing to certain groups. And if we're going to have, we're looking at $1 million grant to make the community center more usable to the community, our goal as a council should be to have the community use the facility, right? It doesn't make sense to me that we are limiting the use of community members for that facility. That's its purpose, that's its point. That would be like saying we're going to have, a park with swing sets, but we don't want anybody to use them, right? So
I don't charge to use the swing sets.
Right. Okay, bad analogy.
The legality issue of it is that we can't donate money to the school or to the Boy Scouts or anybody as a city. You can't do that. You can't take tax money and make public donations with it. My suggestion to you is to ask Brian if that language could be changed, or if it's acceptable to have multiple pricing structures. I'm perfectly on board with you. I think we should use them for storytelling, or Boy Scouts, or any kind of activity, if there's a club that meets, or things like that. It's a shame to see the building empty. But with your current rate structure the way it is, you need to ask Brian what's acceptable, because I'm in support. I'm about use it or lose it. I want to see everybody using that building. The worst thing would be that it's overbooked. That's never happened yet.
So, follow-up question: when do we typically adjust our rate schedule for our public use facilities?
I think if you do it annually.
You can answer that. Usually we wait until the audit comes, and then we see if we're in the red, like say on the water. If we're in the red, we're negative on that, or in the sewer if we aren't charging enough to the customers. Then we adjust our rate schedule, and then we look at all of it, and then we make our adjustments then. But normally it takes place when you're in the red in one of the utilities, because the other ones aren't adjusted very often.
Yeah, sure.
This is separate from that, though.
Yeah.
This can be discussed when we are having our budget discussions. All it takes is a call to Brian to see what's legal. And if you guys decide that if it's legal that we give a discount to residents or to charitable organizations, then you can do that. If someone has a wedding or a party, you might charge them the full boat. But you're on the slippery slope, because it is definitely discriminatory pricing, and I don't want to make a legal call. I would have Brian do it.
I think it's legal, because I say we're making an amendment to a policy we have, and it's called a waiver. And then we go, and we can do it.
Okay, so remember, next time the school comes and asks for a contribution, we give it to them.
I'm not talking about cash handing over.
They want a donation, they come for donations.
This is not a donation, it's waiving
Yeah,
the
you're
fee for
donating.
rent.
We're donating because they're not paying us the money, so we're donating what it would have cost them to them. It's a donation, any way you look at it.
We're not giving money out of our treasury, we're not accepting any money.
We're not charging them though.
We're not accepting, we're not donating any money, we're not giving any money out. So that's-
I've had this
there's a
explained to me
difference there.
several times and it never changes.
Is there any more discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. Motion fails 3-1. Mayor assumes the seat.
All right. Planning budget meeting. Clerk, you wanna do it? I don't know, either if you can do it Thursday, you say Thursday next week?
No, our discussion last time was that we would sit down and I'd go over portions of the budget with different council members. Now that Dylan's gone, I can't utilize him. But, my plan is this week to meet with a couple of you to go over particular budget items. And then at that point, we can have a meeting. Tuesday could be a little premature. We could do it Wednesday or Thursday next week if you think that works. What's everybody's schedule look like?
Well, I'm ready to, I've got both the fire department and the campground, so I can meet with you tomorrow if you want.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. And I think I'm gonna meet with Rudy and Bob relating to public works and police. The fire budget's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Just is, so. So if you guys wanna meet next week, would Wednesday or Thursday work for you, or what would be the box?
You talking about a meeting or a meeting with you,
No, a
Just
meeting,
meet
with the council as a whole.
the council as a whole? I'm open any day.
Next week, any
I could Tuesday or Wednesday for that.
Tuesday or Wednesday, what would that be? What day?
16th is the Tuesday, 17th.
17th,
The 17th afternoon would work for me.
that work for you, Paul?
Name your time.
Somebody make a motion for a date?
I'll move for a special session budget meeting on September 17th. Do we have a time suggestion I can add? 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock?
4 o'clock, fine.
2 o'clock?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
At 2
I
o'clock.
think it'd work for Mike better, he doesn't have to, go beyond this.
Doesn't work for me, but we'll see.
2 o'clock on 17th.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by
Support.
Councilor Potashnik to make this special budget meeting for September 17th at 2 o'clock for budget talks. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Again, it may not be here. New business, Dylan Horn resignation, accept his resignation effective Friday. And thank him for his service.
And I have reached out to Dylan, but I'd like to publicly thank him. It's been a pleasure to work with. He's been very dedicated. It's too bad he's leaving our community, but that's the reality of the situation. We will miss his efforts.
Yes.
I make the motion to accept the resignation.
I'll second.
I'd like to read the resignation. It's quite good.
It's moved by Councilor Bertocci, supported by Councilor Skirvik to approve the resignation of Councilor Dylan Horn effective Friday the 12th. And go ahead, Councilor.
It says, Dear Mayor, Overstar, and council members, it's been an honor to serve as a member of the Gilbert City Council and to work alongside you in representing our community. Unfortunately, due to my upcoming outside the city limits, I will no longer meet the residency requirements to serve on the council. With this in mind, I'm submitting my resignation effective 9/12/25. I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve the residents of Gilbert and to contribute to the growth and well-being of our community. During my time on the council, I've been proud to work with such dedicated colleagues and community members, and I remain confident in the continued progress of the city. Thank you for your trust and support you have shown me. I look forward to seeing the city continue to thrive under our leadership. Sincerely, Gilbert Holmes.
Okay, yeah, very nice, resignation to us, yes. We wish him well. So, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Well, and with that, I'm gonna jump right down into number D right now. We're on the subject. Start, filling the plans that we just talked about, formalizing October, September 30th.
Sure. As we discussed, we would post it starting the 12th and until the 30th, it would be closed and then bring it up for discussion
Right,
at that time.
somebody make a motion on that?
I'll go ahead and move.
Motion by Councilor Skirvik, second.
Second.
Councilor Bertosnik, seconds. To, effective after the resignation is, completed on Friday the 12th, we'll post for a vacancy, a councilor for the city of Gilbert, and the posting will end on September 30th. And then after that, we will discuss how we proceed from there. And all residents of Gilbert are encouraged to look for that, and if they're interested, apply on that council seat. Any more discussion?
So it'll be on the city website and posted
Correct.
on the bulletin board up on top.
Correct.
They come in, you get an application form.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, number B, employee interviews, job posting.
So basically, we discussed this, how we're gonna move forward and select the interview people, and then when that happens, we will have a closed session to do those interviews, and we'll set that up. The only thing we need to take action on is job posting. I'd like to repost the accounting position because we don't have any qualified candidates. So I need a motion.
Deputy clerk position?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do
I need a
that.
motion to,
I'll move to
Repost.
repost the deputy clerk position. I'm assuming we're gonna try and repost it on Indeed as well.
yes.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, do I hear a second?
A second.
Second by Councilor Bertosnik, to direct the city clerk to go ahead and, advertise for a deputy clerk position for city of Gilbert again.
Question,
Discussion.
does the League of Cities have a job board?
Yes, they do, we use it every time.
Okay.
Anybody who knows what city work, see, that's the problem. If we could get the people who can do the work to know that on the League of Minnesota Cities website, every accounting job, clerk job, administrative job is there, public works. I mean, it's a great site for people who are looking for a job, and so we always utilize it, but it doesn't seem like we get the traffic we would expect, so.
I just don't wanna leave
It's
any
no cost,
stone unturned.
no cost for us to use it, and we'll use it this time too.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously.
I just have one question about what we just adopted here. Okay, now the personnel committee, Mr. Horn left. So do we have to now make a motion to put Paul in there? I know you were the reserve or whatever, but do we have to actually?
He is the alternate at this
So
point
it's
in
good,
time.
it's good to go.
He's good to go at this point in time. If you guys wanna make that official when you make year-end appointments,
That's good.
I would actually recommend that I stay in an alternate position because we don't know who our other counselor is going to be, and so at that point,
Okay.
we can
perfect.
open.
All right.
We'll shoot for our yearly appointments to take care of it. Thank you.
Okay, police computer approval, are we just going for the low bid because it's the cheapest one, or I don't know, make sure you get the right one?
No, they're all comparable. I had multiple bids. These two are the lowest bids. The one that we would go with is the lowest bid. And it has all the bells and whistles that Ty needs. They've changed the software requirements and it takes a more powerful computer to run what they have coming up here. and we don't have anything in his department that can do this, so we're pretty much stuck moving on.
I want a computer, I wanna make sure we get to the right one, just because it's cheap, I don't want.
Yeah, our IT person has done extensive background with Kai and with the software people and searching for a computer. I'm confident that he's selected the correct one.
Very good, I'll recommend it.
Is that the Dell computer?
That's the type. I don't really know. Mayor Council, I don't know a whole lot about the computer situation. It came down to, with the change of the software, it was all about the graphic card. We bought these computers during with the COVID money, and the whole city bought all brand new computers. We bought 2 laptops with that grant money because it was supposed to be for working from home. Our administrative assistant was given a laptop for the workstation because that's where we got the grant money. And the problem is we can't update that computer. It needs a bigger graphic card, and they can't update a graphic card on a laptop. So my computer's, I'll just take her computer rather than buy a computer for myself in the future. It should last me 5 more years. So that'll be the only computer that'll have this supposed graphic card that can run all the anything else. It's not like it's like $1,000 to update the graphic card on the old computers.
Yeah.
So those are just 5 years old. So this, I don't know about price wise, but we thought initially it was going to be $1,000, but because of the graphic cards and stuff, that was the lowest price. So, because I was shocked at how high the price was on it initially. Yeah. But it comes down to that pro. I don't know, Rudy, you know more about graphic cards. It comes down to that graphic card, not so much the speed. So.
You have the SSD card, drive that speed.
I recommend we go ahead and purchase that 1970 25-cent computer from Dell for the police department.
Make a motion to do that.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councilor Bertocci, supported by Councilor Skirvik to do just that. Approve that purchase of $1,970.25 for a computer from Dell for the police department. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries unanimously. Labor meetings.
I don't believe we need a motion here, but what I'm telling you is that they've reached out to see if we can pick some preliminary dates to get together. I would suggest that we move it into October, the first week of October, second week of October. I can reach back to them and get some dates that are workable. In the interim, it gives us time to digest the contract and look things over and decide how you want to move forward, whether we hire our labor attorney to help us with this, or if we're gonna wing it.
Is it true that by the end of September, we need a preliminary levy?
Yes, but that doesn't have to, we aren't gonna be able to slide labor negotiations in. They're gonna take months, so I suggest we pick October when our schedule lightens up a wee bit.
Okay, so you need a little motion.
No, I just want everybody to agree that that's okay.
Very good.
Okay.
No more miscellaneous? If none, motion to adjourn is in order.
I'll move to adjourn.
Moved by Councilor Skirvik, supported by Councilor Romero, support that. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carried. We adjourned at 7:19. Thank you. Good night.